Hey, hello out there in YouTube land. I am running late today. I'm still getting used to having this on Wednesdays, and I kind of glitched, but that's okay. I made it, right? So, van life project. Yes, you saw that. I have taken my nano project and shipped it off, virtually speaking, to my co-author, and he's going over that. So I no longer have to look at it for at least a month, maybe into the new year, because I'm just really done with it for a while. But now I'm very excited because I'm able to put myself into working on this van life cookbook, and it's very exciting to me. Um, as I've mentioned a couple of times, this is a stretch for me because cooking small is not something that I am an expert at by any means. Cooking large, I've got under. You want me to feed 150 people? I'm your girl. You want me to feed two? We're going to be eating leftovers for a few weeks. Yes, weeks. So, um, I have been working. Today was the first day that I actually had time and ability to sit down and type into the computer and do actual work on the van life cookbook, and it felt so good. So this is the feeling that I was missing during NaNoWriMo. I'm really happy I felt it because I was really depressed kind of during Nano because I'm not used to not having it just kind of flow out. And that's, I mean, it was because I wasn't working on the right project. Now I am, and it's just coming in spades, and it's great. So I have tentatively come up with a name for the book, which I wanted to share with you guys because, of course, we all know that projects that have names and covers are more likely to succeed. So the name of the book that I have come up with is Eat Well, Cook Small, Live Large. And the reason that I chose that as the name was that I wanted very specifically to address the idea of tiny life. Um, so, Eat Well, of course, it's a cookbook, and you're trying to eat better than grabbing Taco Bell on the way back to your place, or, tinned uh, chili or whatever. So, Eat Well, of course, is a given. Cook Small references the idea that this cookbook is going to deal with single or double servings of food. It's going to be small amounts. This is to cook on top of a single burner, or maybe for, if you're having a few friends over at a campsite, a couple of larger things. But the idea is you can go to any cookbook for larger feasts. This has got to be very small versions, but still be just as enjoyable um, from a feasting perspective. Because I'm sorry, but tiny life people don't have to go and buy a turkey sandwich and pretend that that's their Thanksgiving dinner. No, you should have um, the same kind of ability to make and enjoy a truly spectacular meal at the holidays or any time, but in small. And that's what I want to do with this cookbook. Um, and live large, of course. When you are living in a small space, your life itself becomes large, or at least that's what I'm hearing. Now, I obviously am not living in a van, which makes me sad because I would love to do that. But I have lots and lots of people who are talking to me who are living van life and who are sharing their experiences and their pictures and their ideas with me and their problems. And that's the big one that I had. Yesterday, I got a page from one of my test people. Hi, Justin. I can see you and Lister the cat. um, Justin paged me and said, do you have anything in this cookbook that's going to address the fact that I only have a little tiny bodega up the road from me? He's not anywhere near a large grocery store. And of course, unlike the rest of us, van life people, when they go shopping, have to, if they're in a place where they're packed in, for instance, right now, he's at Quartzsite down in Arizona, um, have to pack up their whole house. They don't get to just grab the car and go. They have to pack their house up and go. And the other thing was that those who are traveling and who walk away from their vehicle, I mean, we walk away from our vehicles all the time. I drop it, I go into a store, I go hiking, we leave the car in the parking lot. And I heard not that long ago, a couple of days ago, about a couple who are doing the van life. They had stopped somewhere beautiful because there was a hiking trail, and they wanted to go on the hiking trail, and they came back and somebody had smash and grabbed in their vehicle. Well, it's worse than it is for somebody who's only traveling in your car. They live in their car or in their van, and they lost household stuff. That's like somebody breaking into your home. For them, it is somebody breaking it. So I'm keeping these things in mind as I'm writing. So right now I'm dealing with recipes that can be made with things you get at the local Cumbies or Mr. Mike's, or give me the name of a gas station convenience store, or maybe Dollar General or Dollar Store or something to that effect, because there's those kinds of stores are all over. And you can pretty much always find a place that has a few canned veggies, and or maybe if you're lucky, some frozen veggies, frozen meat, canned meat, and dried pasta and things like that. And so I started writing that, and for my inspiration, I actually have, and I'll show you some of these are absolutely terrifying. Let's see which one oh, this is a good one. So this is from the Betty Crocker Recipe Card Library. Isn't that just terrifying? So what I'm doing is going back to that. This stuff is all post-war recipes, or things that were started when Campbell's was brand new and actually had, lots of really good food in their soup. And I mean, I'm not saying they don't; they still do. And I like cooking with their stuff, but I mean, we don't always do that nowadays. But rather than just picking up a can of soup or a can of chili and eating it, how do you turn that into food that's actually delicious and maybe has some kind of nutritionality to it? And so this one was the garden supper casserole, and I actually changed it significantly and turned it into a casserole that can be made on a single burner in a smallish cast iron pot or a regular pot, possibly with a liner if you want to go that route, and provides you with multiple layers of scalloped potatoes, vegetables, leftover meat of any kind, or even a canned, if you want to pick up some canned chicken or canned tuna, and then cheese on the top. All of these things can be picked up at Mr. Mike's or Cumberland Farms or any of the little gas stations that I know of. And so that gives you the ability to make a delicious meal that is made from easy to source materials, even in a time where you might not be able to find anything else. And it's not overly expensive. And what I'm going to do is include notes in the bottom of each recipe for, okay, if you're in a place that has excessive amounts of grocery shopping, if you're in a place where you have access to farm markets or a huge grocery store, here's the changes you can make to make this even healthier and not use the canned stuff. Because that way you have both. And again, the challenge for me is taking it from, the Betty Crocker recipes that I'm starting with from the recipe cards are for usually 4, 6, or 12 people. And taking that down to a single or a double serving is not easy. It's because it's not just halving the amounts. You have to actually try the recipe out and see how it goes and work with it and decide what the best way to get the bang for your buck. I mean, I know when I'm making, there's another recipe that I was looking at where you make a roux, and I'm making it for one person. So I know I'm going to be using 1 cup of liquid and 1 tablespoon of flour, which isn't 1/4 of what's called for in the recipe, which is for 4. But I know how to fix it. So that's kind of what I'm doing. And I'm also taking out things like the aspic. And I promise you there will be no recipes that have jello in them or um, things floating in jello. No, no. Not to mention in a van life, you don't always have a refrigerator in which you can chill something like jello. So you're all safe. Okay. Um, but this is what I really want to do. I want to have a section on small items that people might plug in if they happen to have a generator. So a crock pot, which could be run in the vehicle while the vehicle is running, an air fryer if you're at a place where you can plug it in. Some of the people have those little combos. It's like a tiny 2-cup coffee pot and a toaster and a little thing where you can do an egg on the top. Um, so I'm going to look into what all those different tools are and talk about how they can be used in a van life scenario or a tiny living scenario. And so, yeah, I'm having a ton of fun with these recipes. I'm getting out of my comfort zone, and that's always exciting. And so, yeah. And I now have my recipes out there in the world with some of my test cooks. So I will actually have feedback that will be included in with the recipes in the final book. And I'm hoping, even though I will have black and white photos, I'm hoping that there will be a lot of photographs of the finished products, because I'm going to, of course, I test drive all these things myself. So yeah, so that's where I'm at today. um, Other than that, I've got Christmas stuff doing. I've done a whole bunch of wrapping today. I played with bunnies, and I'm about to make dinner. So the world is good. I hope that you guys are having a really good time and that your nano went well and that you have survived and come out the other side. Um, and I wanted to say, you know, if you are a reader, whether or not you're an author, it's a completely different thing. Um, Consider books for Christmas. Even if sometimes, sorry, I'm trying to find the right words here. People don't always like getting books, but there's always a reason to give a book. And when you give a book as a gift, and it's not just, oh, well, I wrote my cookbook, so I'm giving everybody a copy of it. Not that I've ever done that. um, but it's that when you like a book enough that you want to give it to somebody, it's because it said something to your soul that you want to pass along to theirs. And so um, it's a way of giving a part of yourself without taking away from yourself. And it's a way of showing somebody how you feel about them without saying the words necessarily. And I love that idea. I love the idea, and I'm going to try it this year on Christmas Eve. Instead of watching bad movies and arguing and then going to bed early out of desperation to get away from everybody, I'm going to see if we can all sit around and just read books. Because I think that would be a marvelous way to spend the night, sitting around the wood stove, enjoying the heat, snow falling outside, because it's going to snow, right? It's not going to rain. It's going to snow on Christmas Eve. Just putting that order in right there. and enjoying that snowfall with a glass of wine and a good book. All right. I'm going to let you guys go. Have a great week. I will see you next Wednesday. The 15th? Yeah. Ooh, hey, look at that. Today is the day of the Immaculate Conception. Okay. That works. Anyway, have a great week. Oh, and if you would like to come and purchase a cookbook or one of my vampire novels, or you'd like to get one of your books that you ordered online signed, I will be at the Jaffrey Ringe Middle School cafeteria on Saturday from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And I'll be set up, I'll be dressed up, and I'll be looking good and hopefully playing some lovely medieval Christmas music. So I will see you guys there and have a great week. Bye.